Lawsuit argues Trump use of war authority for deportation could be limitless. Plaintiffs suing the Trump administration over use of war authority to deport alleged gang members warned that failing to block the president from its use would mean anyone could be treated as an enemy alien. The lawyer for Venezuelan migrants suing the government said Tuesday in a appellate court filing, the implications of the government position are staggering. If the president can designate any group as enemy aliens under the act, and this designation is unreviewable, then there is no limit on who can be sent to a Salvadorian prison or any limit on how long they will remain there. Those subjects to the 1798 Alien Enemies Act can be arrested, detained, and deported without the due process protection outlined in the U.S. immigration law, including opportunities to see a judge and request asylum. Instead, they may be treated as enemy aliens and processed under America's wartime law. President Trump invoked the act Saturday and used it to send 2 planes carrying alleged Venezuelan gang members to prison in El Salvador.
So I mean, they just basically told you that anybody can be sent. He asked for the right today too to basically say that I don't want to have to tell you guys. I want to keep it a state secret who I send there. You know what I mean? So we don't get to know who you send there. I was online. I was having like a conversation. Like I'm always online having these conversations on these political, pages, right? This guy goes in there like, so you guys, something like you're defending Venezuela. You want Venezuelan gang members here? I said, no, we just want to know who you sent. He was like, why do you want to know? Why does it matter? Basically, I'm like, what do you mean? First, you guys are telling everybody else you're a sheep for not questioning what the government is saying. To the people who question everything the government's been saying, I said, he basically came back and he was like, oh, well, do you question the government any other time? I said, yeah. He said, why? I said, Tuskegee, Black Wall Street, Emmett Till. You know what I mean? We can keep going if you want to.
You guys didn't question the government during COVID-19?
You know what I mean?
When the shutdown happened? The whole thing, that should worry everybody. Because think about this. What if you decide, hey, you're a Trump voter, you're like, I don't like what he's doing. You form a group and you guys are like, you want to protest what he's talking about. Well, now you're an alien enemies.
Yep. And then they're going to snatch you up.
They're part of the Ukrainians and they can ship you off.
Without telling people your name. They didn't even tell people names.
Nobody. That's what the judge is asking.
Yeah, like who are you taking? Who are
these people? And they're refusing to tell them because not all of them were gang members.
And not even on top of that, it could have been American citizens. It could have been anybody. We don't know who this was here.
Because if you're doing something correct, right? You should be transparent about it.
Because they talk about transparency. I had a friend of mine. Everything about this administration is transparent. Well, why don't you want to tell the names of the people who you sent down here to El Salvador? Because you want to start sending Americans down there. It's just weird. I saw people. I know people who's talked about even sending Americans down to El Salvador. Like that would make sense to send because we know who they're going to send. The moment you open that door to allow them to send anybody down there, who do you think they're going to send first? They're going, the worst criminals. Who do you think the worst criminals are? They already try to lie to you and tell you that blacks commit more crimes than whites do. European Americans do. They lie. That's a lie. It's a blatant lie. The numbers bear out. Look at the fentanyl death numbers. It tells you those are crimes committed, not just the deaths themselves. But you think the person died the first time they took fentanyl? You think they weren't stealing stuff? You think they weren't running the streets? Yeah, they were, but they weren't being convicted of anything or charged with anything because you're under police in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, no, they get slaps on the wrist. That's why they have the crazy stuff going on now, running around doing all kind of stuff. I watched the people fight in a restaurant, drunk. You know what I'm saying? And it teaches now because we're so over policed. We know that if we do something, we at least have to try to get away with it. You know what I'm saying? These people, I saw the video. The one people come out the restaurant, and the girl was in the cop's face, and she kicked him in the dick. And then the cop took the girl, slammed her on the ground. The boyfriend came, started punching on the police. I ain't never seen nothing like that a day in my life.
You know what I mean? Because we already know that's a murder game. They're going to kill us. I mean, it's like the dude who pulled the knife on the cop, got out of his car, pulled the knife on the cop, got back in his car, tried to drive away, all kinds of extra stuff.
You see the one guy chase the one white dude chase the cop
with the
knife. The cop's like, put it down. Put it down.
We wouldn't even, but we all know the truth about it. We know how these things go.
Don't let me have a Three Musketeers in my hand. I'm getting shot.
He shot the lady. After he told her to go turn that boiling water off. You know what I mean? In her house. Man, I'll let the water boil if I want to let it boil.
She said, I'll rebuke you. He's like, I didn't know what that meant.
And so that's why he killed her. But that's
why he killed her.
Yeah, the point of it is, man, at the end of the day, man, this dude is doing some illegal stuff. We all know that he is, but half of us are just want to be oblivious to it because you want to pretend like you're good with it. But you really are good with it. You really are good with all this stuff because it's not affecting.
As long as it's not affecting them yet. But by the time, and listen here closely, folks, by the time it does affect you, you won't have any legal clause or any laws to be able to defend yourselves.
Because what if it's turned around and we start doing this to y'all? You know what I mean? Like this is, it kind of seems like a us and them, but we're really protecting you more than you even know. Because in reality, when that Section 8 goes, when those food stamps go, when all these programs are gone, it's going to be you and your families, not us so much, your families.
Yeah, we're pretty resilient people. I mean, if you think about it, that's why America doesn't have health care, because they didn't want to give it to black folks. You know, when you people make it out of slavery, and then you live through Jim Crow, and then you make it through civil rights, and then you make it the biggest protest in America, you kind of notice we're pretty resilient people. Now, can you match that? Who knows?